So I'm gonna run this joke into the ground.
I see that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not smiling as much.
You didn't laugh the first time though. Oh, you kind of did the first time.
The first time I did.
The first time you did. What's up, everybody? So
Hi.
we're live. You may be wondering why. So here's the deal.
Oh, we do get to see comments and we get to reply.
Excellent. So here's the deal. We've had nothing but issues all week. It's been insanity. We've tried multiple times to get this recorded and we've failed multiple times ridiculously. So we figured, all right, if this is going the way that it's going, why not just go all the way? So we're going to go ahead and record this week's episode live here for the Facebook group.
Just for you guys.
Just for you guys.
Just for you. Since we know everything that's gone, everything
the last
that's
week.
Week.
Yeah.
We just want to make it up for you guys, and hopefully this makes it up.
Hopefully this is interesting. I mean, Garrett was with us in one of the episodes, and he learned a lot of what happens behind the scenes. So we kind of figured, all right, if we do this a little bit, perhaps it'll be cool. Perhaps it'll be something you guys might enjoy, and at the same time, it's something we can kind of put out there. And you guys kind of get the episode live. So if you're watching live and you happen to catch us live, by all means, feel free to go ahead and participate in the chat, and we'll go ahead and, if it's meaningful to the show, we'll add it to the show. If it's not, you're going to get ignored. You're going to get ignored. We're live, but we're also trying to do a quality episode.
Yes.
So, all right. So you ready now?
I'm ready.
You were a little nervous about going live.
I will say I was a little nervous because my issue with why I was nervous is because I don't want no issues to happen. I just want this to be
quickly wiggle the mouse.
I know, right? Garrett is an inside joke. I know you got it, but yeah. And of course, me and Chris are not this level. I do want to point it out. I just didn't want to make him feel short, so I had to bring the booster.
Right,
the booster seat out.
Shut up.
He's on a booster seat, guys.
All right, so here's the deal. And I have a picture to collaborate the story, all right? So we're sitting down, he looks at me, and then I look at him, and I look at the camera, and I'm looking at our framing, and I'm like, I look really short. Ricky, can you please just come down a little bit, just a little bit? And then he turns around, and he calls his wife, and he goes, hey, do we have our daughter's booster seat? Because, ladies and gentlemen, he's a jerk. He is a jerk.
I know, I enjoy myself. Oh my god, first yay!
This is going to be productive. I'm already kind of regretting this. So, these are the rules of what's happening. Once again, this episode is live, so anything can happen. 2, we've had nothing but technical issues all week. We're praying we don't this time. So if they happen, we apologize in advance. We're doing the best we can. And again, we're trying to do something fun. And 3, there may and possibly will be cursing, especially if something goes wrong. So be forewarned. Just know that. May want to listen on lower, whatever it is that you want to do. But keep that in mind. You ready to get the episode started?
Let's get it started.
All right, hold on. Let me get some water.
Oh, God. I'm so excited.
Now they get to see how many times I screw up an intro.
I know, right? See, and now you get to see that it's not my fault. It's always him.
Yeah, it's always me.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do it.
Welcome to episode 77 for Gaming Dad 101, the show where gamers became dads and are now looking for cheat codes. If you're joining us to Gaming Dad 101 for the very first time, Gaming Dad 101 goes live each and every single Wednesday as a podcast on podcast services everywhere, and it goes live as a YouTube video on Fridays. Now this week, we're a little bit off. We're a little bit off.
Yeah.
We're hoping, I think we can get the video up still by Friday. This episode hopefully will be live by tomorrow. Cross your fingers. Now, if you're joining us on the episode on the podcast or the YouTube video, we are actually recording this for the very first time live over on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/GamingData101. Wait, a new window. So it's right there. You can check it out if you're watching us on video. And if not, again, go to Facebook and look up Gaming Data 101. You can join us over there. There's a lot of great people in conversation. It's starting to pick up some more with all the news that are coming out. So go check us out. Now, before we get into the episode, Ricky.
Hi.
What's up, man?
You finally did the intro without stopping.
I know.
Oh my god.
Does that make you slightly nervous? The fact that we're live and anything could happen. And that's the one time I know the intro.
I know, right?
What's up?
I'm so jealous.
Professionalism level 1000.
Nothing. I've just been working, relaxing. I have some time off now upcoming.
Lazy.
I know, right? All time. I need a break from you.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
No. But yeah, no, just I really haven't done nothing. Just play Risk of Rain 2 a little bit.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about Risk of Rain. So, Risk of Rain was announced during the Gearbox presentation over at PAX East.
Yep.
And it looked awesome. It's what is it? Early access,
yes,
right?
Early access.
Or is it a beta?
Early access.
Early access. All right. So it's early access. So there's still a lot of things that may be missing, and there's still a lot of things that, glitches here and there. So it's not a perfect game, and there is room for improvement. Mm-hmm. However, let me tell you, I had so much fun playing this game. It's not even funny. All right. I enjoyed the hell out of this game.
I did too.
It was a lot of fun. It's basically a dungeon crawler. So you're there and you're in a group of 4. If you don't have a group of 4, that's fine. They will match make you, and you will have partners. And that's basically the cool step about it is you don't. The matchmaking was pretty quick too.
It was.
As I remember.
Yeah, no.
Because it was only you and I playing. But it was really a fun game. We played for about 4 hours. So the fact that we've said it on the show time and time again, our time to play video games is limited a lot, and the fact that we were playing for 4 hours should tell you something. Mm-hmm. So I mean, what did you think?
I mean, to me, I loved it. I know I've played it a little bit longer than you, so I was able to unlock the character, and somebody got a little jealous. But
the Huntress, dude, she's awesome, man. And that's the other thing. The characters are really I'm very interested in the characters. Like I like the different stats that they have and the different qualifiers that they have.
And so you can actually notice the different stats from everything. Because when I was playing with the original character, I know I was playing around and we got pretty far actually. The first round that we went through, it took us an hour.
So here's the other part. At the top, as you go through the game in time, it gets more and more difficult. And as you go through different dungeons, each dungeon becomes more and more difficult. So you go from easy to normal to medium to hard to extremely hard. We made it all the way to ha 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 ha. Like that was it. So I think we made it pretty far. That was I think at that point we had been playing for about 2.5 hours. No. The first round we played was 2 hours. The first round that we played was 2 hours. And then we lost after that, and then we restarted. We played one round for 1 hour, and then the last round I think was for 45 minutes or so.
Wow! And it didn't even.
That's what I'm saying.
And honestly, it didn't even feel that long because you're actually genuinely having fun in the game and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Now that's one thing I will say. Playing this game solo, it's not as fun.
Oh no, definitely
you really won't get that far. But playing with other people and definitely playing it with you, it just made it that much more fun and more interactive because, of course, we're able to crack jokes while we're playing games.
We're able to crack jokes, we're able to talk, and just whatever the hell, and just enjoy the game. And it is a lot of fun as a group. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we actually posted over on the Facebook group to see if anybody was playing when we were playing. Sadly, nobody was at the time. But if you do have the game, let us know because, again, we like it and we want to play it some more. We need at least 2 more people to play with, at the very least.
Yeah, you 2 that are currently watching. Come and join.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the housekeeping. We ended up talking a lot about diversity and accessibility last week, and it was kind of a divisive subject, I think. And there was actually a lot more support for keeping the art alive. Now, we didn't go too deep into it, but how do you feel? Do you still feel the same?
For the most part, I still do.
Okay. Because I know that we asked that over on our Facebook group, and we did get a lot of people who were commenting on it, but it's one of those where it did keep going back and forth. And that's part of what I've been interested in, the whole debate of it. You know what I mean? Because I can see both sides, and that's the problem. And there's no solution. I did get a proposed solution from one of our Facebook members and listener of the show. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. I knew I should have had it. See, this is the one. Here we go. I found it. With James Kindlesberger, he actually provided an example. How's this for a compromise? What if hard games made their game as challenging as they wish for the first year after it's released, and then they add an easier difficulty to make the game more accessible to all? So kind of a time exclusivity thing. It's not a bad solution, all things considered. Because, I mean, really everything else considered is, how else would you solve this issue?
As a developer, I don't know.
As a developer,
I don't know.
yeah, neither do I. And that's part of the issue. It's can you tell your story? Does your story necessarily have to be difficult in order to get through it? And I know that there's companies out there that look for that, and that's what they pride themselves in. But is there a way to make it accessible? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I kind of feel, that it doesn't necessarily need to be an easy mode, but it should be that anybody should have access to it and be able to enjoy it and still be challenging to their level. You know what I mean? It's not about it always has to be at 9,000, but it should always feel at 9,000 to everybody.
Exactly. And again, everybody has their own different skill of level play and all that stuff. So something to you that might be easy, it might be difficult for me. So it's something that it will be pretty hard to try to balance out. You know, again, it's not going to be able to satisfy everybody. They could try their best. But there's a lot of stuff that would actually have to go into it. But yeah, easy modes. I mean, I'm all for it for the time exclusivity for difficulty levels.
That'd be an interesting solution.
Now, as long as they don't tie it to no damn DLC package. Oh, if you want the easy mode, just go ahead and pay $4.99.
Oh man, hold on, we gotta.
Oh, hey guys.
Yes, my forehead is growing. No, my hairline is not receding. That is messed up. I love you, however. God damn. And on that note,
hey, it's better than telling you your eyebrows on fleeking out.
Well, your eyebrows are on fleek for you. Yeah. You do those very well. Anybody who doesn't know, that's a comment over on our YouTube video. Somebody asking if he tweezes his eyebrows. So
yes, we're in the same room.
Let's go ahead and get on with the show, Ricky, and not get lost too much. Tell us, Ricky, every week you give us a list. You tell us why reasons we're broke.
Man, the reasons why we're broke, starting off with this one, I'm broke regardless if it's in Spanish or if it's in English. I'm going to mispronounce it. Everybody's going to make fun of me, but I don't care. So we're going to go with... I can't even say it, okay?
Do you want me to do it?
Ano 1800, baby.
A-N-N-O.
Yes, A-N-N-N-O. Ano or Ano, however the heck you want it. I mean, we did warn you at the beginning of the episode. 1800 coming out for the PC on April the 16th. We have Final Fantasy 10 or X and 10-2 HD Remastered coming out for the Xbox One and the Switch on April the 16th. We have Tank Meets Zombie coming out for the Switch on April the 16th. We have Wasteland 2 coming out for the Switch on April the 16th. We have World War Z coming out for the PS4, Xbox One, PC on April the 16th. We also have... Truberbrook, whatever the heck that game is.
That's an interesting name.
I know, right? And even my phone even tells me, hey, you misspelled this, but
that's
the developers.
All right.
Yo, but yeah, coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch on April the 17th, and then of course
Cuphead
coming out for the Switch today. Yes. Since we are live, everybody, we can actually say this game is coming out today.
And sadly, I still haven't played it.
And then finishing off the week with Our World is in PS4 tomorrow.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
I'm not gonna read your comment on there. The text is very small, and the word I'm reading is not appropriate for airtime. Just in case. So let's go ahead and get into the news for this week. So we were concerned when we were going to record this episode originally when we normally record it because there wasn't much. Then all these issues started happening, and to an extent, I kind of feel that it was to our benefit because we have so much to talk about this week. And one of the first things I want to talk about is GameStop has a new program that they're releasing. GameStop is going to have a program called Guaranteed to Love It. You have it?
Nah.
Perfect. I get your fresh reactions to it. All right. GameStop is going to let you return any purchase that you make within a 48-hour period.
For 100%?
Hold on, there's caveats. So, the promotion window is only going to be during the first week of the game's actual release date. GameStop is going to specify various times which the titles are eligible. So, for example, Days Gone is going to be out on April 26th, but GameStop says customers will only be able to claim the full credit refund if they purchase the game between the 25th and the 28th. So, in other words, customers can't buy the game at any time and still take advantage. If players don't love it, they can trade the item back to the store for the full price of $59.99. Tax, however, is non-refundable. So, do you think this is what saves GameStop to become Blockbuster?
I mean, it's better than you buying a full brand new $60 game and then telling you, okay, here's 59 cents for
it. So I'm going to tell you the story of Chris when he was in middle school. All right. No, was it? No, it was high school because I was driving already. So I went over to GameStop. No. They had a policy similar to this, but for used games.
I was driving before I even high school.
Oh, excuse me. Anyway, so I was driving. I bought a game. I went home. I played it. I finished it. I returned it. I came back. I got another game. Played it. Returned it. I ended up with 4 games in 1 week.
Damn.
It's great for me. But is this going to save GameStop? They just had a $700 million loss. A $600 million loss after they made a $700 million profit. Is this going to save them?
If they're going to give me full refunds back, it's not going to save them, but it will drive business back to them.
You think so?
To a certain extent, yes. To me, I see it as it will bring some kind of a business back to them, just because they're gonna try to play it off as, hey, we're trying to be loyal to you guys. You know, we understand that our policies, you know, in the past have not been the greatest, especially whenever it comes to used games. So by you being able to provide a service like this, to us, the gamers and the customers and everything, it's gonna open the doors to where, okay, now this is something that just popped into my head. Are we gonna need a receipt for them? Because now if I'm buying a game, let's say Walmart or something, another retail store, and I'm bringing it over to GameStop and I'm asking for, you know, hey, have this back.
I'm sure you're going to need to be able to prove that you purchased it there.
Yeah, there's going to be some kind of a fine line, but
even then, I'm sure there's ways around it.
It still brings you, it's like, okay, let me just stop here, let me see if I can just return it.
I think it's a system built in a way that it's very easy to take advantage of it, and because of it, I don't think it's going to profit them very well.
No,
again, I mean, in their statement, and this is the part that I find interesting, in their statement, they put out that they're true to their core promise in their announcement, and they are giving the power to the players. And it's like, at this point, just give us the games. Like, just close the shop, give us the games, and call it quits. I don't feel that it's actually going to do anything to move the needle. And even if it does drive business, I mean, I feel like it's a little too late.
It is a little too late for them. I do agree. I don't know. It's just going to be for those core gamers and those core, you know, people that love GameStop, that still, you know, support them. Because I'm still one of those that actually do go to GameStop to pick up most of my games. And that's where I actually do place all my pre-orders. I don't pre-order it through Amazon or online or Walmart. I always go to GameStop. So to me, to a certain extent, I do feel a little bit of loyalty over to them. So if they're willing to negotiate with me and work with me, you know, yeah, I'm willing to, you know, continue giving them my business.
Right.
But to this day, I still haven't been screwed over by GameStop, so I guess I've been one of the lucky ones.
That's true. So we're going to do something interesting that I've always wanted to do. So if you're watching this live here on our Facebook, put a comment down below. Or if you watch this later, go ahead and put a comment down below. Do you think that this is going to help GameStop in any way, shape, or form? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm curious about. We'll talk about it on next week's episode. But let's go ahead and move into the next article. Now, I'm going to flip based on what we have in the docket. So I'm going to touch on base on another one first.
Okay.
There's a new Star Wars title coming out.
Yeah?
Excited or not?
I mean,
hold on, it's from EA.
Yeah, now.
Okay, but here's the best part. Here's the interesting part. It's from Respawn.
That's what gets me excited.
That's the part that gets me excited.
That's what. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. Yeah, I love.
Out. I know it's your house. But get out.
I've never really been. I mean, but in my defense, I really never seen all the Star Wars movies. I never I just never paid attention to them as much. Now, I do like the characters. I do have some fundamental understanding of what the characters' backgrounds are and all that stuff. Overall, I did play. Do you want me to tell you the first and only Star Wars game I've ever played?
Sure.
It was for the original Xbox.
Okay.
And it was Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the... And
it's still not as old as I thought. I thought you were going to go back to like 64 or something.
No.
Or like even farther.
Not that far. Okay. But I will admit, I did love that game. Okay. I actually did enjoy that game. So by having Respawn making this game and knowing how well they've been doing lately with their Battle Royale Apex, I'm actually excited to at least check it out.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yes.
Because it looks like a very interesting
It looks like it's gonna have a good storyline. At least per what the trailer, because...
And then here, let me talk a little bit about what it's going to be. It's going to take place after the events of Revenge of the Sith, where the universe is largely devoid of the Jedi, and the developer says that the game will be a single-player, story-driven title, with a big focus on lightsaber combat, which is the part that interests me the most, and Force abilities. So, this sounds like a Force Unleashed type of game. But it sounds like a Force Unleashed on steroids. And that's the part that's kind of interesting to me. So... apparently, there's a lot of melee and there's a lot of stuff like that. And again, we go back to the fact that it's Respawn. And right now, with Apex, Respawn can do no wrong. That they came out with that game completely.
At least we hope.
At least we hope. Well, yes. I know that it's EA, but here's the other part that's awesome. EA put out a statement. There's going to be no DLC, there's no paid DLC, no microtransactions, none of that.
Yeah,
so none of the crap that we are used to from EA, they went ahead and immediately, nope, this isn't happening. And I can't help but feel that this is part of the rumors that were going around of them losing their license. And this is kind of a way of them, one, hopefully reassuring fans, but two, also regaining respect back after everything that happened.
Regaining this trust. And I think that's actually the most important thing is they do need to step back and actually try to regain the trust of of us, really.
Sure.
Of all of us. Because without us there's no EA, unfortunately. It's not tweeting our own horns or anything, but if you keep messing up, sorry, ain't nobody gonna pay attention to your game.
It's a beloved franchise that has had a very rocky few years, and what we need is a game that looks like what the trailer may deliver.
Not only that,
and I say that carefully, and we had a lot of members of the Facebook group kind of like, we're cautiously optimistic. And I agree. I'm very cautiously optimistic. I want to play it. I'm very excited for it. It looks beautiful. The title is intriguing. The timeline of events is intriguing. But it's still EA.
Yep. And it's not just EA. That's not the whole issue either. It's just knowing that EA has some, it's... how can I say it? It does play a big part, of it. But then you got to think about all of the games, Visceral Studios. When they closed it down, they were working on a Star Wars game.
And now that you bring that up, Visceral Studios was working on an Amy Hemming game that was also supposed to be first player. That was also supposed to be story driven. That got scrapped.
Yep.
Of course, based on interviews that have come out and stuff, this isn't the same game, which is a shame because I would love to see Amy Henning's game. But it's why this one? Why not the other one? And that is a question we're never really gonna know. It'd be nice if we do at some point. It'd be nice if Amy's game comes out at some point. But I wonder what the differences were. Why that one was cut and scrapped, and why this one went through. And I'm also surprised that this one went through so under the radar without anybody knowing anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yep, because there was a bunch of rumors that came out with, Visceral and all this other games that, kept getting canceled from EA. So, yes, there's going to be a lot of people, that are going to be very, very extremely cautious when it comes to this game. So, I'm actually excited to see what happens. So
stay tuned. We'll tell you how we liked it. All right, so moving on to the next article. Ricky, they did it. It's official. They announced it. It's coming. It sucks. Xbox digital version has been announced. The Xbox One S All digital edition has been announced, and I was super excited. I've been on this show multiple times, and I've said how much I wanted this console. I don't anymore. The price is $250 with a 1 terabyte hard drive. Now,
is it a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte?
1 terabyte. 1 terabyte hard drive.
I thought I saw 2 terabytes.
Then
no, that's the PlayStation.
Yes.
Never mind.
No, that's a different.
Later. Yeah, that's
a different thing that we.
Yeah, that was one thing that caught my attention. Why are you gonna make a 1 terabyte all digital freaking console? You're barely gonna have any freaking games.
No, here's my thing. With the price, first of all, the price point is what unsold me. I was in this when I thought this was 150. I was in this when I thought this was 180 tops. 200 was my line. 250, it's too much. And yes, you have a point. Why is an all-digital version only coming with 1 terabyte when these games take up so much room? It's kind of a ridiculous notion. Now, yes, you could buy an external hard drive. You can do all sorts of things. But yes, it's an all-digital. You should be more prepared, and you should have a better... You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I'm very disappointed. And then... there's been backlash. I mean, people aren't happy about the price.
Yes, people have not been happy with the price, but if you really think about it, because they're gonna make it into a bundle, you're gonna have 3 games that are gonna be part of it.
That is the positive thing. Yeah. Oh man, I accidentally deleted the games. Do you remember all 3? I know the Sea of Thieves, Forza 3,
Forza, and Jesus Christ.
Not Jesus Christ. No. He is not part of the bundle.
No, he's not part of the bundle. No, but
I'll look it up. Say what you're gonna
say. Regardless, okay. So let's do the math. There's
Minecraft.
There you go. There's gonna be 3 games. Minecraft is at least $29.99. You know, depending on what console you're looking at.
But also, who doesn't have Minecraft at this point?
I get it, but if you want to buy a new console, you're gonna have it. Just like if you have the Switch, you were trying to tell me to play the freaking, what was it, Attorney Ace game?
Ace Attorney.
You know?
If you haven't got an Ace Attorney, get Ace Attorney.
And we're not sponsored by
them. And we're sadly not sponsored by them.
No, not at all. But if, you know, I mean, we do it with the Nintendo Switch, with all of the Nintendo products. We bought the same game over and over on every single console. So yes, having those 3 games part of the bundle.
But let me be the one to buy it.
I get it, but they gotta kick it off somehow. You know.
But to an extent, and here's the thing, and this is where I'm coming from. I'm coming from $250 is too much for me right now. I will not pay it. I can literally find a used Xbox One X for $200, so I can find this effectively cheaper. So why? And also, these are 3 games that I would only be interested in one. First of all, Sea of Thieves. And even then, those 3 games, if you take those off, technically speaking, you could lower, or you should lower the value. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say.
And that's my thing.
The core system, to me, and this is me placing all the games at least at $30 a piece. That's going to be, what, $90? And then if you price the console itself with no games, probably at $59 or $159.99. That's gonna put you at the current $250 range. Ish, so yes, take away the games. That way we can at least have the option of buying the cheaper version.
And I'm telling you,
that's most likely what people are gonna do. Because honestly, if you're going on digital and knowing how Game Pass for Xbox is, I don't think they're gonna have, you know, a lot of people buying copies of games. I think they're going to download
that. The purpose of that box, is to enjoy the Game Pass, especially what they just announced, the Game Pass Ultimate, which actually combines gold with your Games Pass subscription. Yep. So it's one of those where it's interesting. I like the Game Pass idea. I like the Ultimate. I'm so for that. But, again, the console itself is just too much. I mean, I can find the older consoles that are technically better for cheaper. And you can tell that there's been backlash. They've actually put out multiple statements. The last statement being, Microsoft sets a suggested retail price, but specific pricing and offers vary by retailer. Their goal, apparently, is to keep this version of the console $50 cheaper than any other, console. Cheaper than their next one, than their regular one. And $50 is just not enough. No. Not enough for me to get up, and unfortunately, not enough for a lot of people. There was a lot of backlash, like I said. I've yet to see a positive comment on this. Mm-hmm. It keeps being more along the lines of, why do we need this? Why do we need this? Why is this here?
Now, and I'm going to try to, I can't remember where I read this. I can't remember if it was one of the multiple articles for the Xbox. or if it wasn't even for Xbox, I can't remember if it was even for PlayStation. And yes, that is my.
We're doing it live.
That's right. But I saw in an article that if you actually had the physical copy of a game, you can.
Yes.
I can't remember if you can go
the
to
digital
GameStop.
program. Yes, you can go to trade in your game at GameStop and get a digital voucher for that game. Yes.
So at least that's a good spin that they're doing.
That part I like, and yes. Again, they're being very customer-centric, but the launch of this console very much reminds me of their original launch for the Xbox for the Xbox One, where they came out and they sounded tone deaf. And this is the first time I see Microsoft sound tone deaf lately because they've been doing so well. It's going to go the way of the PlayStation Mini and it's going to drop real quick.
Probably.
When it drops, that's when I'll be in. That, again, 150 to 180 range. That's my range.
They, for sure, already have to drop by next year anyways, whenever the new gen comes out.
And that's the other thing. Who is going to buy this when the next gen is right around the corner? You know, so it's one of those. It's a multifaceted deal. But off of Xbox, let's go to PlayStation.
Hey!
All right, so the first thing is it's official. You can change your PlayStation names. Ta-da! Are you keeping yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keeping mine too. So
I'm keeping mine.
It doesn't really apply to us.
Yeah.
But if you were one of those people that picked a weird name when you were younger and you totally hate it now because you're older and you're in your 30s and you picked the name when you were like 15 or 16 or 17 and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of offensive now. You can go change it.
Do you know what the email address I wanted to get when I was younger, when I got my first PC?
Let me guess. It had X's and 69 all over it.
No.
Okay.
No. Killing Skull Dragon. My dad didn't let me, though.
Why?
I don't know. I was too young.
Your dad's outside. We should interview him later.
I know. We had that. But, I remember he was calling me, and he was telling us, like, hey, I'm buying you the computer. They need an email address for AOL. Yeah, it was like,
okay.
And I actually still have that PC. I found that one of the days that I was spending at my dad's house, I was going through one of my closets, one of my old closets, and it was there along with my very first laptop that I ever bought.
Nice.
And yeah, so
off the tangent.
Yeah. But
we do it all the
time. Back to the actual topic on changing your name.
Yes.
They did give a disclaimer though.
Correct.
It's not gonna happen.
Before we get there, let's get the good news first.
Okay.
So the good news is that you get your first change for free.
Yep.
We've already covered that. Then any change after that is $10.99 if you're not a PlayStation Plus member, and if you're a PlayStation Plus member, it's only $5. So it's not too bad. But then there's this piece. Go on.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
We get to get the bad news.
And I'm the bad news kind of guy. Is that why I'm wearing Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Okay, fine. I'll be Spider-Man. Now, the bad news is that it's not going to work on 100% of the games. There is a small list of games that is actually not compatible with the software that they're using to change.
There's a risk one and a critical list. So some games that may have issues, that sometimes have issues, and then there's the games that are really broken and really get affected.
Yep. So there's going to be, what was it, April 1st, if I'm not mistaken?
April 1st, 2018.
Yep. And they're going to have already the software built in to be able to change your ID. But there's going to be a handful of games that unfortunately it's not going to allow you in. That's not going to be compatible with it. So.
And I mean, and it sucks, and that's part of the PlayStation infrastructure where they didn't think ahead enough to actually get this, the way that they should have, and that's a shame. But it's good that they're finally coming around and doing it this way, because now that it's set up this way, we should be, spring free going forward, and there should be no issues. It's only going to be affected for anything that came before. So it sucks that it does kind of affect in the middle of a generation, especially with the next news that we're about to talk about. But, we'll see. But let us know if you're going to change your names. Particularly, let us know what your name used to be, why you're changing it. Because if you're changing it, there must be a funny story to it.
I mean, if I change mine, it's probably going to just go from, JKA 2006-89
Too picky gamer dad.
Too picky gamer dad.
Fair
just
enough.
to make it more up to date with what I am.
Fair enough. More to keep it on brand.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then the other news, we have a sneak peek into the PlayStation 5 and the specs for it. So there's still rumors. There's parts that are rumors, parts that are confirmed. So PlayStation 5 still looking like it's going to launch around 2020. What we know so far for sure, it's going to have a solid state drive. It's going to be backwards compatible to the PlayStation 4. And this is the part where I was talking about how it may affect in terms of the names and the whole name changes. It may affect those games that are backwards compatible.
Probably.
But again, this is a problem that we were going to have this issue at some point. You know, unfortunately, because of how they built everything. Now, there was a showing of this where Mark Cerny fired up a PS4 Pro, and I'm going to go ahead and read this excerpt for the article over on Kotaku. To demonstrate, Cerny fires up a PS4 Pro playing Spider-Man, a 2018 PS4 exclusive that he worked on alongside Insomniac Games. On the TV, Spidey stands in the small plaza. Cerny presses a button on the controller, initiating a fast travel interstitial screen. When Spider reappears in a total different spot in Manhattan, 15 seconds have elapsed. Then Cerny does the same thing on a next-gen dev kit connected to a different TV. However, the dev kit was on an early low-speed version, and it was concealed in a big silver tower. You couldn't really tell what it was. Chances just looked like a regular server or computer. And what took 15 seconds on the Pro took 0.8 seconds on this new system. So that's part of what we're looking at in the processing power. So on the next gen console, the camera speeds uptown like it's mounted on a fighter jet. Periodically, Cerny pauses the screen to prove that the surrounding environment still remains crisp. So they've been able to speed up processing and still remain the dexterity of everything around you. Now, based on everything that they're talking about too, it seems that they're going to be focusing, because we have 4K, we're getting ready for 8K and all of this thing, we're getting to a point where realistically our eyes are not going to be able to tell the difference visually. So what they're starting to do with the next system is apparently they're going to be focusing more on audio improvements, and they're going to be working on something called ray tracing, which is apparently something they use in Hollywood for movies. And the processor that it's going to have isn't going to be able to actually do ray tracing, but it's going to be able to do something near it. Now, here's the thing. I don't know too much about it, so unfortunately I don't want to talk too much about ray tracing. If you know something, please let us know. But it sounds like it's going to have a lot of juice behind it, but it just sounds like a souped-up PS4.
Now, the one thing that does get me interested in is the actual solid-state drive. Because, yes, that should help, going through the different loading screens and everything. It should... I mean, like you said, they did the test, and it's gonna boot up a lot faster. So I'm very excited for that. Backwards compatibility. I'm gonna.
You're a little up on your mic. You can back up a little bit. Don't make out with it. It's okay.
I get a little excited. But yeah, you're gonna have that. Then what was I? Oh yeah. Actually, I heard so many rumors about this thing that I'm not even sure what's real and what's not. So to me, what I'm actually excited is the speed. That's the number one thing. Okay. I believe it's gonna be a 2 terabyte.
That part's a rumor. That part's the rumor.
Okay.
There's no size from what I saw. There's no size confirmed as of yet.
Okay. I mean, they're gonna have to at least make it.
It's gonna have that. The rumor is that it's gonna have to be at least 2 terabytes.
You know what I'm thinking now?
What?
I want to try my solid-state drive on my PlayStation. I have an empty one right now.
Oh, yeah, true. I'm
going to try it and see if it actually does work.
It will work. It's just a matter... We'll talk about this off air.
Sorry. It's my ingenuity side.
But there is a rumor going out, too, that it's one of those that... Apparently, there's been leaked images of the PlayStation controller. Yeah. Have you seen those rumors?
I heard the rumors.
There's apparently a screen and a camera on it.
Yeah, no, that's.
I hope, I hope not.
No.
From a practicality perspective, but also from a price point perspective, I sincerely hope that is not the case.
I hope so too.
Can you imagine if it has a camera and a visual screen? We're looking at a controller that's going to be at least $200.
Oh yeah.
And I understand that for the pro controllers that's going to be fine, but for your regular household non-pro controller, we shouldn't be paying that much money. What?
The wife just wrote, "Hey, you guys want some deals?"
Oh Jesus Christ. All right.
But, sorry.
So, are you excited about the PlayStation 5?
I'm excited. There's still a lot of questions that they do need to answer. I mean, yes, they're gonna make it a little bit faster, but how much faster? I know that there was a rumor about making it 8K. I think that's just...
Well, no, that part's not a rumor. It's gonna be able to process 8K, but it's gonna be able. To hold on.
Process 4 freaking K.
That's how they're gonna do 8K. The exact way that they're doing 4K.
Get fucking 4K done properly before you go and jump.
We almost made it the whole episode without cursing.
Sorry, guys. It's the water.
It's the water. we barely cursed on the episode we were drinking, but on the one where we're drinking water in our silver.
Oh, we cursed on the episode internally.
Did we?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but not live.
No, well, I think we were just trying to respect Garrett.
Yeah, for real.
We didn't want to scare him too much.
Anyway, that boy don't get scared. Anyway, so moving on. So are you guys excited for the PlayStation 5? The rumors are coming. The hype is growing. And the only reason that anybody can think of as to why the hype is growing now is because PlayStation is not going to be at E3 this year. But
no.
Xbox is, Nintendo is, I'm pretty sure Stadia will be.
Stadia better be.
That's what I'm saying.
I know that apparently, I was reading an article about EA. I mean, not EA, just E3. Mm-hmm. And that they still hadn't given a booth to Xbox. They're still pending on a booth.
True, but they are doing the Mixer. They're doing something for Mixer.
Yeah, they are, but I was just wondering, I'm like, why are you taking so long?
Why is it still pending?
Yeah, why are you taking so long? What is it that you got to
Man, alright, so this isn't part of the docket, but you know what?
Not.
I'm afraid of E3 dying, man.
You think so?
I do think it's going the way of the dodo bird.
I was trying to think of a dodo bird sound.
Yeah, nobody knows it.
I don't know.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. But anyway. So yeah, man, that's what I fear, that E3 is going the way of the dodo bird. It's going to die soon.
I mean, we'll see this year.
Yeah.
When is it coming in again? We got to look into that.
Yeah, I gotta pinpoint the exact date. It's in June sometime, but I think it should be like the 12th or something like that.
Something.
Between the 12th and 14th. So, and last but not least, for the news for this, everybody saw what happened to the church in Notre Dame. It's a tragedy. It sucks, regardless of what your personal beliefs are, religious and political. We don't care about them. This is, again, about something interesting in video gaming. Ubisoft has come out, and because of what happened to Notre Dame, they actually went ahead and released a free copy of Assassin's Creed Unity that you can reclaim for free for PC until April 25th for the sole purpose of you being able to enjoy the church and go see the architecture. Because if Assassin's Creed's done something right, it's been how they've built their cities and the detail to the buildings and architecture of the times. That's been their biggest, success, in my opinion, when it comes to their games, is the historical aspect and the accuracy of those buildings and what they model. So I'm very excited to see
I think at one point I was also reading I forgot who posted it again, but I'm going back to another article where they were talking about that they hope that they actually take the Assassin's Creed model of the church and everything and actually try to rebuild it based on the Assassin's Creed.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not see that. That's pretty awesome.
I actually did read about that, and that was on one of the articles there. Because I know that multiple people placed it, but they were hoping that for them, it's more of a suggestion, was to go look through the game and basically try to rebuild it based on the game, because it was pretty almost to the point on how they made it in AC games.
All right.
So
sweet, man. That's actually pretty awesome. Yeah, don't ever look at free game in the mouth.
And I don't care what you feel about the AC games.
Actually,
free.
I personally liked Unity. I actually did not have any issues with Unity.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the disaster stories, and I have friends who had the problems. I didn't have a single issue with Unity.
I haven't played Unity, so I'm gonna download it so I can play it for the first time.
It's multiplayer.
I know, that's why I was gonna look at you.
What's up? All right. So moving on from our ridiculousness. Now, if you're new to the show, every week before we end the show, we have something that we call the Parenting Cheat Code of the Week. Now, this week's cheat code was written by me. Rules and boundaries. That's what I'm calling it. Rules and boundaries, because... boundaries, Ricky. Boundaries. But, rules and boundaries. And it boils down to my kids. My kids lately have been testing boundaries. Testing boundaries. You can't hear it on the audio, but go watch the video because I make faces.
Well, I think they'd probably be able to.
Yeah, but the face sells it. It's one of those, dude, where they're both testing their limits,
Really?
and
Mine does
yeah.
all it every day. Actually, I can bring the wife into the show and she can tell you straight up how she tests my wife.
I think she's watching soon. We'll have a comment that says, "Oh, the hell no!" But yeah, definitely, it's one of those where they've been testing everything, and we've reached the point where it's black and white.
Really?
Where I'm not allowing gray. We can't. And it's one of those where I've come to realize that because of the way that they're testing, we need to make sure that they see the firm line of where the boundaries are for the ones that need firm lines. And the problem is that they're testing boundaries that need a firm line.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, one of the things that the youngest one did this week was throw a chair at his teacher.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that's a very hard line. You know what I mean? Like that. There's no gray in that to me. To me, there's no gray. It's wrong, good or bad. Period.
Yep.
So we've been having to be very tough, and essentially, it's one of those where I kind of wanted to put it as a cheat code to remind you that sometimes that's what it takes. And the reason I'm putting it as a cheat code is actually because the other day I felt beat up, and because of everything that's gone on this week, because of personal stuff, because work's been insane, and I just felt completely beat up. And I called my dad and I told him about how both kids are testing, and he gave me this same speech. And it's sometimes we have to do what sucks just to be able to right the ship. And unfortunately, if something has gone awry, you need to bring it back into focus. And the only way to do it at the moment, because of the boundaries they're testing and how they're testing it, is to put a full dead stop on it. And if you're dealing with a situation, please remember that if you have to, that is okay. You know, as long as you're looking out for the best interest of your child at heart, that's what matters. And there's a lot of times where we as parents second guess ourselves in our decisions because of multiple things. You know, our parents did it different. When my parents did it this way, I didn't like it, so I'm going to do it this other way. But now because I'm doing it another way, it's new, so I don't know what the result will be. You know what I mean? Yeah. We second guess ourselves all the time, but again, there are times where things like that are needed. And I felt that because I needed that reminder, I kind of wanted to put it out there for everybody listening. So.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, my daughter, she's been testing to where, not really starting to lie, but more of trying to see what she can get away with. Mm-hmm. You know, we tell her, for example, in the mornings, hey, as of lately, she's been doing good, so I will give her that. But, for example, we'll tell her to go, you know, put her shoes away. No. Like, back talking to us.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. No, so in those points, yeah, we have to draw that line to where, no, honey, sorry, you're not going to backtalk to mom and dad. You know,
that's not how it works.
You're going to go straight to timeout. I don't care how much you cry. I mean, she has done some things that, to me, I'm willing to leave her in timeout all day. But, of course, my wife, voice of reasoning, you know, comes over and tells me I should not be doing that. Don't call child services.
And we're lucky in that regard. I think you and I, to an extent, have a very similar character, and I think to an extent our wives do as well. Because just yesterday, I had a conversation with our oldest, he was testing, and I snapped. I literally snapped, and I scared him. And I don't like when I get angry, because when I was younger, I used to have anger issues, and I don't like myself that way. So it's very hard to get me to snap. But he was doing something, and I just kind of like, and I just, you know what I mean? And I just went this whole like white rage, screaming, like, sit your butt down type of thing. Yeah. And the look on his face, and it's like, part of the fact that it got there, I feel that it's because there were certain things that we were just kind of like letting get by, and we need to, you know, kind of make sure that these things are done this way, you know, and we need to remember that it's okay, that there has to be those boundaries. But the caveat to the cheat code is to be crystal clear too. So tying into last week's cheat code is I've been being with, for example, with AJ, I've been being crystal clear with him. So I snapped, but then I turned around and I was like, hey dude, this is what happened. First of all, I'm sorry. This is what happened. This is why I snapped. This is what caused it. This is when I warned you and you didn't realize I was warning you. I need you to realize we had a discussion about everything.
And you know what the crappy part about it is? After everything, we're the ones that are left feeling bad.
Of course. You're always going to feel bad. I mean, we never understood it when we were kids, where our parents used to say it all the fucking time. It hurts me more than it hurts you. And in our heads as kids, we're like, yeah, shut the you have no idea what you're talking about. This is bull. And then as adults, we're like, nah, yeah.
No, yeah,
So.
Yeah, I know now.
Yeah, we definitely do
I definitely don't now.
All right.
But, yeah, guys.
So, we're done with the episode, Ricky. How was that okay? Like, are you still nervous? Do you think you're okay now?
I am okay. No, nothing crazy. As far as I know, happened. Everything is going according to plan.
Oh,
well, actually, we had no plans. This is more sprung in the moment.
Whatever, man. It worked, didn't it?
It really did. Everybody, let us know how you feel about us doing this live. I will say it's probably not going to be something that we're going to be doing.
We're not going to do this all the time.
We're not going to be doing this all the time.
Not every time.
But we may
do it a couple of times a year or something. I think we could do
special events probably. We'll try to do something like this fun. But at least tell us your thoughts about it. Is this something that you think is worth it? Do you guys actually enjoy it? It's all crazy. I love that comment. And see, we can actually interact directly with you live and try to answer as many questions as we can. But yeah, what about you? How do you feel?
Oh, I loved it. This was super. So nobody knows this because clearly we didn't have the cameras on, but this was all being set up. But the way that I sprung it up on Ricky, it just kind of like, what's going on? What are you doing?
There's comments coming in.
Depends if you give shout outs. Yes, David, we do give shout outs. So, I didn't know what you were doing. So, the way I sprung this up on him, he was just completely surprised and no clue what we were doing. And I was like, you know what? We've had nothing but issues. I think it'd be interesting. Can we do this? Do you know how to do it? Let's figure it out. We sat here for, I think it was like 15 minutes.
Yep.
Luckily, it was super easy to figure out because otherwise we wouldn't do it. And we gave it a shot, and I think it was a lot of fun.
I actually did have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I actually did have a lot of fun. I will say this has been one of the few episodes that is probably not going to have any edits to it. And
that's the other thing. If you're listening to this anywhere, or if you're watching this on Facebook, we are not editing this before this episode goes live.
Nope.
The goal, now, we haven't announced it on the Facebook group because we weren't for sure. The goal is for this episode to go live tomorrow, both as a podcast and on YouTube.
Yep.
Once again, guys, we're very sorry of the fact that we weren't able to post the episode the way that we normally do this week. Again, between multiple issues and other stuff. Again, we apologize. This was our way to hopefully make it up to you guys. Hopefully you found it interesting. And we'll see when we can do this again. Now, before we let go of the show, anything you'd like to recommend? Anything you'd like to put out there?
You know, there's something that I wanted to recommend.
Okay, what's up?
I want to recommend your knowledge about this piece of hardware that you wanted to give a shout out to in our last episode, and we completely forgot about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's something along the Switch lines.
Do you remember the name, though?
I do not remember.
You totally didn't prepare me for this, so now I don't even have it.
So now you feel my pain when you try to do me when, hey, do you have that stuff ready? You know, are you missing something in the docket? You know, it was one of those moments and I felt like I actually had to get out of my chest, you know.
So you're doing this as revenge is what you're saying.
Definitely as a revenge, especially since you sprung this lifestyle.
But you know what? Here's the deal. So it's called Switch Fix, all right? This is what professionals do. So
I keep you entertained by talking while he looks it up.
What it is you go to getswitchfix.com, and it's essentially a grip for your Pro Switch controller that also holds your Switch right on top of it. Mm-hmm. And it's basically like this little dongle that goes in your hands, and it has like a little stand for your Switch up here so you can actually play with the Pro controller instead of your Joy-Con controllers. I thought that was super awesome. It was announced on one of the other podcasts that I listened to, and because I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is great. And Ricky loves this sort of gadgets, so I sent it over to him.
It's even right here. There's one of them right here.
Yeah, so he's got a little holder. So
again, I'm not sponsored by them, but
sadly we're not sponsored by them. But you can, if you want to sponsor us, please reach out.
You know, I'm more than happy, Switch Fix. You know, if you want to give us review copies, I will definitely review this live.
Of course. We'll do an unboxing and everything.
Oh, yeah, for you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Gaming Data 101. Remember, Gaming Data 101 goes live each and every single... Well, don't touch the mouse. Don't end it. We're not done yet.
No.
All right, remember the Gaming Dad 101 goes live each and
annoying.
every single Wednesday on podcast services everywhere, and on Fridays as a video on YouTube. Remember that this and other shows you can check out our website at geekendcast.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at GeekEnd Cast. You can follow me at ViscSend. It's not under my name this week. And you can follow Ricky at PickyGamerDad on Twitter. Thank you very much for joining us for this week's episode, guys. We will see you next Wednesday.
Luego.